Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheraton Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. So, it's the time of year whenever their chickens really drop off their egg production. We're only getting, gosh, maybe 2 dozen eggs a day now. I mean, they've really dropped off. So, that's normal, but got a little trick up our sleeve. We're gonna try that today to see if we can encourage our chickens to lay more eggs. And I've got an idea on how to do that to kind of automate that process to make it easy on everybody. Stick around with us, we got a lot to do today. Okay, so here's the backstory and the deal on what we're trying to accomplish. So we've got our group of laying chickens out here. They're kind of everywhere right now, you can sort of see them. And these girls, there's some girls in here that are 3 years old, there's some girls in here that are about a year old. And we've noticed production, egg laying production that is, I know you're doing a good job, egg laying production on these girls has dropped dramatically. So there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1 is age, and some of these girls are just really slowing down. But number 2, based on the time of year, these birds are not getting enough daylight to stimulate their egg laying capacity. So we're gonna trick them just a little bit. We're gonna add an artificial light onto our chicken coop. Now I know there's a lot of discussion about should you do that, shouldn't you do that. I understand that. This is these girls' last winter with us. After this winter is over with, and then these birds that are out there in the garden are done, these girls are going to be traded out completely for an all new group. So what we're going to do is we're going to put an artificial light here, and I have come up with a system using a solar panel, a charge controller, and a timer, and then a landscaping light. So we're going to see how this goes. Before I get into this, I want to make a couple of disclaimers. If you decide you want to do this following my instructions, you may want to teach your chickens to use a fire extinguisher. I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is complete trial and error. I am not an electrician. This is not to be instructive. This is strictly meant to be entertaining and informative so that you can see what we're doing. But this is not a how-to channel. I'm not an electrician, and this is not intended to be an exactly how you do it kind of deal. So we'll see how it works. I may come out in the morning. We may have roasted chicken for breakfast. So anyway, let's get to work and see if we can get this thing put together. So I had looked at some lights on Amazon that were made for chicken coops and on a timer and that kind of thing. But what I was noticing was all of those lights, and that were powered by solar, because we're out here, we're out here in the middle of the field. The house is, you can't see it through the woods, but the house is probably 150 yards that way. And I wasn't pulling the power cord out here. Plus I need this to be pretty portable. We move these girls fairly regularly from one spot to another, and I need this to be pretty portable. But the ones that I was noticing on Amazon that were solar powered with a timer, you turn the light on and then the timer functioned from there. In other words, you turn the light on and the light would stay on for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever the case may be. And it had a remote. Well, that's fine, but I want this light to come on at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come out here and turn that light on. That kind of defeats the purpose of, the automation for me. So what we decided was we needed to be able to use a timer, and this is a 12-volt timer, and I'm going to post a link to all of this stuff in the description down below, and it is Amazon affiliate link. So if you decide you want to purchase, we get a little bit of commission, but doesn't charge you anything extra. So we decided that we wanted to use a 12-volt timer that would tell the light when to come on and when to go off. So to do that, we needed a battery. So I got a 12-volt 7-amp-hour battery, and to charge that battery we needed a solar panel. So we got a solar panel. Well, in reading about it, solar panels, 12-volt batteries seem to work better if you run that through a charge controller. So we got a charge controller, and then that's going to power our landscape light. So the way this thing ends up working is we wire our solar panel into our charge controller here, comes out of the charge controller to the battery there. This controls the charge capacity, if I understand this right, the charge capacity of the battery, and prevents the battery from backflowing up through the solar panel when there's no light. Then we connect our timer to the charge controller here. So the power from the battery comes into the charge controller, back out to the to our timer, and then the timer is going to be wired in to our light. Now, this timer was not as simple to wire as I expected that it would be. There were some funky things that you had to do. You had to tie into your ground down here, and then you had to provide a jumper wire that went from here to here, and then back out to your charge controller. So there are a couple of videos on Amazon that show how to do that. I'll link to one of those down below. I kind of figured this out just watching that. The video still wasn't very clear, and the instructions in the box aren't very clear at all. So that was a little bit funky. And again, I decided not to video me doing that because I didn't want to lead anybody astray and cause somebody to blow up a timer or blow up a battery or something like that. So those are the parts and pieces that run the light. I'm going to mount all that in just a metal ammo can. We're going to drill some holes through the bottom to run the wire out. We're going to drill them on the top or the side just to try to keep everything dry. This, with all of the parts and pieces for the light, is going to be mounted we're going to mount all the parts and pieces for the light in here, and then we're going to mount that on the very front of the chicken coop. And then the solar panel, we're going to mount it in a way that we can hang it from a T-post. So then it becomes very flexible in terms of where you put it. You can put it on this side, the far side, on the front. You can put it on the side and point it towards the back. It gives you lots of different options on what you want to do with your solar panel, because your solar panel always needs to be pointed southward. So that's the plan. Those are the components. Let's see if we can put this thing together. I need to buy these chickens a fire extinguisher in case we set this thing on fire tonight. Teach them the pass method. So let's get to work and see if we can make this thing come together. Okay, so we got all the components mounted in the box, and we've got the box mounted on the front of the trailer. The only problem that I really had was I used just some double-sided sticky Gorilla Tape to try to attach the charge controller and the timer, and that stuff just didn't. Maybe I'm just not patient. I'm trying to use it on the battery too. Maybe I'm just not patient enough holding it, but that stuff just doesn't seem to hold very good. So now what we've got this this wire here that goes out to the that's going to go out to the this is going to go to the solar panel. This is going to go to the light. So we're going to run it up through here and into the coop, and we're going to go ahead and we'll get that light mounted right quick. And I'm just going to use some staples to hold this wire in place. You know, it's certainly not up to code. Hope the chicken code enforcement folks don't come around, because I'll probably get a fine. But we're going to run that wire up and get the light wired inside. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to mount the I want to fix a mount for the solar panel, and I'm going to try using one of these. This is a T-post hanger. What we're going to do is we're going to mount it to this little piece of plywood, and then we're going to attach the plywood to the back side of our solar panel right here, just using a couple of sheet metal screws. And then we should be able to hang it. And if we can hang this from a T-post, I pulled plenty of wire. If we can hang this from a T-post, then we should be able to move it wherever we want and point it whatever direction we want to point it in. So let's see if we can get this piece of plywood mounted to the back of our panel, our solar panel, and then our T-post hanger attached to it. So if y'all can't tell by now, I'm not a craftsman, never claimed to be. So we just use a couple little short sheet metal screws here to go through the bracket to the plywood, and then I was going to use the same thing, but they just weren't long enough to get enough purchase on the plywood, so I used just some 3/4 inch lath screws, and that seems to be fine. And I got 4 in here, so I think this will be okay. So now we just need to get a T-post, mount this, finish wiring it up. We'll turn it on and heck, see what happens. Got the solar panel tied to the wires going to the control box. So all that's left now is to hook the battery up. So there's the negative and there's the positive. All right, now I've got this thing I can't see if the charge controller is working. Yeah. Should have mounted it on the other side. So I know it's upside down, but yes, So it shows that the solar panel is feeding into the battery and that the battery is feeding into the outlet. In this case it's the timer, and looks like we're charging at 14.4 volts, so 12 volt battery, so it should be good. I'm just going to leave that sitting in there. Gonna be the easier way to do it. And then the it looks like the timer's working. So the tail of the tape is going to be, let's see, can we just hit manual? Oh, let's see, it's locked. Let's see. Okay, it's unlocked. Okay, so I heard it click, the light's on, so that means that it's in manual mode. So the light inside should be working if we've got it wired up right. Da 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 da. Y'all be quiet. I've tried to do videos in here in the past and y'all cluck too much. All right, we have light in the old chicken coop. How cool is that? All right, so now get out of this thing. So now the only thing left is we'll get a T-post. We'll get this solar panel mounted up, kind of tidy up our wiring a little bit, and we're in good shape. Might need to do a little something on this, so we'll work on that. Mounted the solar panel on T-post using that T-post hanger. Got it pointed due south, so we should get plenty of sunshine here. Believe that'll be okay. The only thing I'm concerned about is, so I've got the solar panel connected to the wires that run to the charge controller just with a couple of wire nuts, and I need this to be easy connect, easy disconnect, so that whenever we move, we can just disconnect here, take the solar panel off of this T-post, and then move it wherever we want to move it, set it back up, and then reconnect back to the wiring going to the charge controller. So I got to figure that out. If somebody's got a good idea, or a plug, I guess just a simple kind of plug would work. I need to finish taping that up a little bit. A simple plug would work. If anybody's got an idea on how to attach that and make that plug work, leave me a comment in the description down below. Solar panel mounted, pointed southward, wires coming over. Probably need to figure out a better way, something better on this wire. Chickens are gonna mess with it. Comes over, up through the box, comes up on this side, goes into the charge controller, and this is the solar panel connection. This connects the battery, and then this goes over to our timer. And it looks like everything's working good. Looks like the solar panel's receiving charge, and that's pushing through to the battery. The battery's charging. I'm assuming this shows that the battery is fully charged, 14.4 volts, and then it's going out to some type of, this shows a light bulb, but it's going out to some type of device, and it shows that that's being powered. So we should be good on that. And then this is our timer. The timer's set to come on, I think I set it for like 4 a.m. and then go off at 7. That you know, we want them to get a couple extra hours of daylight. I might have set that thing for 3:30. Anyway, so I've got that set, tested it on manual, goes up and then into the light inside. And when we put the when we open the timer up and just let the charge flow through, the light did come on. So, and this charge controller, I had that thing kind of taped to the inside of that wall. I just took it loose. It's just laying in there right now. Need to come up with a better plan for that. And so then we can close our box, and we got a nice watertight seal on all of our controls. So we now have a solar powered chicken coop. For a little extra light, see if we can prod these girls along to laying some more eggs for us. Pretty happy with the way this turned out. We got our solar panel mounted here on our T-post. Nice thing about that is we can move that thing around depending on how we move the chicken coop so that we're capturing the sunlight and we're charging that battery. We got our control box mounted here on the front of the coop. Seems to be working. The battery appears to be charging. Power is going through that timer and is running into the light, so that seems to be working. Like I said a while ago, this is not intended to be a how-to video. This is just for informational purposes only. If you want to try to wire something like this up and you follow my directions, again, you might want to teach your chickens how to use a fire extinguisher. We may look out of that kitchen window sometime tonight and have a big orange glow out here in the field. God only knows. We'll hope for the best. But, you know, we're continually trying to find better, more efficient ways to do stuff on this farm. Time savers, money savers, anything we can do that's going to improve our operation. I'm going to post a link to another video up here where we built our pig waters. That saved us a ton of time every day. Full instructions on how to put that thing together. I think if you're raising pigs, you'll find that helpful. Hey, if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Follow along with us. Spring's coming. Son was talking about ordering turkeys today, of all things. Turkey season's coming. But anyway, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.